Hello, Facebook ads people. I'm Konstantinos, and this is the Facebook ads breaking news podcast. Hello, guys. Another podcast with your host Konstantinos Ligeridis. I will try to make this podcast short, but you never know with me. One thing that I want to say before we start is that um, if you are one of the people that you're watching all of my podcast and all of my content, I would like to apologize if I repeat myself from time to time for things. I just get stimulation every week from things. I write them down that this would be a nice topic to discuss on the podcast. So maybe some things are repeated because, to be honest with you, I'm doing so much content that I don't even remember what I'm saying here and there between the episodes. Not in a bad sense that I don't remember because I'm telling stupid stuff, but in the sense of I'm going to tell the same things. Most probably you will understand it. If you hear me talking about one subject, you will see that I say the same things. So sorry if I repeat myself and it's boring sometimes, and then you have to watch 1 hour content in order to find one or two good things. But if you're at this level and you need to watch 1 hour of my podcast in order to find one or two good tips, then that means that you are very good, and that in order for you to find extra information, you have to struggle more. And of course, you have to bear with me if you want to learn more. Now, the situation right now with ad accounts is a little bit not so good. Because of course we stopped all the promotions for the Christmas. Most of the people, they cannot send products so that they can arrive in time to their customers and everything. So right now we're in the situation that we're just trying to survive this period that Facebook is calling Q5 actually. Q5 is the concept that Facebook has. From 25 to the 31st, they say that it's a very good period to advertise because you have lower CPMs because nobody advertised. Guess what? It's not a good period to launch new ads. They're even having some promotions like, let's say, giving you credit 1 to 3, for example. Giving you, if you spend 10K, they're going to give you, just a second. If you spend 10K, they're going to give you something like 3K more, okay? 30% they fund. So the situation with the ad accounts is bad. I think that in order for you to survive, you need to start slowing the spend down and keep whatever makes sense to keep, and close the ones that they are not going to survive. It's okay, we're going to start new ads on January, but at the end of the day, I want you to be careful in this period because you might lose a lot of money. You cannot spend the same amount of money that you were spending in Black Friday or during the Christmas promo period. And don't fall for whatever Facebook is saying about the Q5 situation. Now, another thing, so my suggestion is just to try to survive, lower the spend wherever you can support, and then we're going to scale back again on January. January is going to be a good month, but we are going to discuss this in the new year. The other thing is that I was watching one post the other time on Facebook, and there was a person, because now, there's a lot of people that they sell t-shirts for Christmas, mugs and everything. And they were saying that they have a mug store, but they're not profitable, so they're looking someone who's going to make it profitable. You're not going to have a profitable store with mugs, not anymore. You could have a profitable store with mugs maybe 5 years ago, but sadly for you, you're not going to have a store right now. Why? Because your average order value is not going to be high enough. And this is why I keep telling again and again that when the situation has changed and Facebook ads became more expensive, the companies that they actually didn't adapt to the situation, fixing their numbers and everything, they didn't survive also. So if you have a mug company, because you say, okay, mug, this is something that everybody's using every day. It's also a cheap product, so I'm going to sell it. Yes, but this is not helping you in terms of marketing cost. Because if you're selling a mug for $8, which I hope and you're not selling it for 20, for example, but even for 20, it wouldn't make sense. You need to sell let's say 5 or 6 at a time in order for the average order value to make sense to cover the marketing cost. Because if you're selling something for $8 and you're having 50% profit, let's say, that means that if we take my super calculator here, that if we do 1 divided with 50%, of course, you need 2 ROAS. In order for you to be not to make money, to just break even, if you have 50% profit margin in a mug and you sell it for $8, you need to have $4 cost per purchase in order just to break even. And in order for you to make money and stuff, you need $3 or $2 cost per purchase. Have I seen these numbers? Before iOS, several times. After iOS, never. I have never seen this kind of numbers, like having sustainably $3 or $4 cost per purchase in order for you to be profitable. So here you have a problem that you're not seeing already in your business. Your numbers are not correct to advertise. It's not about the idea that you have. It's also if it's possible to advertise on Facebook. And on my course, I remember 1 or 2 different chapters that I focus on that extensively. For example, you start with an idea. Let's say that you start with a Christian niche that a lot of people do, and I have extensive experience too. It was easier to start back in the days because you could find interests in order to be able to target people efficiently and start your ads, because every ad account with a new pixel needs to start from somewhere. From where? Interests. So right now, it's not possible because all of these interests have been removed after the changes that happened this spring with the interests. So, in my opinion, it's not only about the idea that you have, it's also about watching if it's possible or not. And of course, I'm talking with people that they didn't knew all of that, but let me tell you some things just so that we can clear it out. First of all, you have an idea. Check if you can target it with interest and stuff. How are you going to advertise this product? Is it possible to advertise this product? For example, you want to target homeowners. You cannot have this interest anymore on Facebook. Do you have any other clever idea? How are you going to do it in a technical level properly? Second thing, if you're having numbers that they don't make sense, for example, you want to sell t-shirts and you don't have average order value or good average order value into your store so that people can buy more t-shirts or whatever, or the prices you need to get in order for you to be profitable, you need to have $10 or $12 cost per purchase every day or $8 cost per purchase every day, every single day, sustainably. It's not going to happen because of the marketing cost, because of the CPMs. This is not because Konstantinos is saying, it's because the market is dictating that, and we can see that from the CPMs. If you're having a store which is having sales and you have a trend pixel and you have been impacted, try to see if you can do something in order to actually be able to change the situation by changing the numbers. Is it going to be increase of the price? Is it going to be bundling your products? Is it going to be having an offer always that is going to serve you on that way so that people can buy more? Is it going to be with the upsell apps that they are going to optimize your funnel? Something has to happen in order for you to be able to overcome the increasing marketing cost. Why? Because the competition is fierce and there are other people that are doing this job, and if you're not doing it, you're not going to be able to advertise. And as we said several times in this channel, nobody invited you to advertise on the Facebook platform, and this is the sad truth. And if you want to advertise on the Facebook platform, you need to find a way that is going to be profitable for you, not just going and blaming like Facebook is a social service that has to please everyone if you don't have good results. Of course, Facebook has to please the customers that they are spending money there and not having a very bad customer support, especially now at the end of the year. But this is another discussion which I don't want to have right now because it's Christmas and we have to be positive. Now that we said that, and I didn't put the post because it was having information from the person, it was on Upwork. So good luck to him, but I hope that someone is going to go along his way and he's going to explain to him all of this stuff. Next one, Advantage Plus. I'm seeing this on Advantage Plus and I will make also a video about it, but you know that the podcast is much more fast information for those of you that you are trained and you understand. Advantage Plus, from my experience since September, I can see that when you're doing Advantage Plus, even if you do $1,000, $5,000, $500, it doesn't matter, and you put 10 ad sets, 5 ad sets, whatever, it's going to just focus in one. So let's say that you're doing an Advantage Plus with 10 post IDs or with 10 different creatives, it doesn't matter. Then you see immediately in the first day, this is how I optimize it. I see if the initial suggestion of Facebook that it's actually focusing on that, it's correct by the link clicks, by the sales and everything I'm watching. Of course, I'm a little bit flexible in terms of delayed reporting, so I will have to wait a bit, especially in the United States. But still, if I see that the first ad, that is the leading ad, and Facebook is spending a lot of money to it, it's not doing well, I just cut it and I just stop the bleeding. So then it's focusing on another one. Maybe I will cut it and another one until I find the one that's working. Now, on the very pleasant scenario that it's going to work immediately and you will have your winner, what I was thinking is that what if there are other winners also inside the Advantage Plus in the other 10 ads? So what I started doing is that whenever I have one Advantage Plus which is working, of course all of this applies to January. You have to do it from January. So whenever I see one Advantage Plus working, I go and I see it, most of the times it has, let's say, 70% of the budget to the best ad set, then another one which has a smaller budget, and maybe a third one. This is the situation with Advantage Plus. The less is not going to spend, and this is not going to change. So on that situation, what I was thinking is that maybe I have other winners. So I was duplicating the campaign, and I was removing the first one. So then I would see another Advantage Plus working because there were other winners inside. Then do the same process with another one, or maybe adding some more that they came to my hands. So I think that with that way, with Advantage Plus, you can scale with several Advantage Plus, because I think it's not fair. It's not like a CBO campaign that is going to test all of that. It's completely different. The Advantage Plus is working and focusing in one or two. And I think that this is the crazy parameters that they have in terms of consolidation from Facebook, which for once, maybe it's working correct, but you need to optimize it a little bit in terms that it's not going to work. In any other case, consolidation doesn't work well. I have several videos on my YouTube channel, you can check it. The thing here is this: do one campaign, see if your one ad is working, duplicate it and run it without this ad and see if another one is going to work, and again and again and again. That way you can also scale with Advantage Plus instead of just having one and then thinking that I need 10 completely fresh creatives in order to do another Advantage Plus. That's what I wanted to say about Advantage Plus. Now, before we go to my next topics, which are more light, okay, and there are some print screens and some things that I want to say, because I told you that I don't want to make this big one. There is this idiot who is saying that it's me. Now he changed his name. I'm putting a print screen here to Hacker Vulgarities, because apparently I'm now a hacker or whatever, and he's still trying to scam people and stuff. And I just feel a little bit sad about it, because I'm contacting Instagram and stuff in order to tell them that this is not the guy, it's me. I send them my passport and ID, and nothing is happening. So, okay, for me it's not a big issue. But what if it's someone else? What if it's a girl, for example, that someone is impersonating her, and it's actually sad that Facebook doesn't have faster mechanism on stuff. Okay, in order to prevent these people from doing that. And what he's doing is that most probably he knows that if he's changing his name all the time, Facebook is not going to be able to catch it. Because at the end of the day, maybe Facebook is so slow, so they know the times and they're changing the names in order for them to be protected and not get banned. Another thing is that I have a question here on my YouTube channel from Manuel Pisner. Manuel Pisner is actually also a YouTuber. You can go check his content. I think he's in German language, whatever. But one thing that I wanted to say is that when you have your own YouTube channel, it needs a lot of guts to go and comment to other people. For example, I'm extremely shy because I don't know how they're going to see it. So thank you very much, Manuel, for the comment. And the question was, and go check him, guys, if you speak German or whatever his language is. I think it's German. He says, thanks for the insight. Do you add new creatives to an existing ad set, or do you create a new ad set and then new creatives and add the new creatives there to avoid re-entering the learning phase? So the reason that I wanted to comment on this is because it's actually, he's asking two things. First of all, when you're having a working CBO campaign, you're not putting new elements to it. That's it. You're going to duplicate the whole campaign and put the new things that you want. It's not an ABO campaign, it's a CBO campaign. A CBO campaign has already decided which ads it's going to promote, how it's going to do it, and so on. The same goes for Advantage Plus. On Advantage Plus, as I said earlier, we have the leading ads and we don't want to have more into our game. So you're not putting new, because this is a strategy which is being used for ABO, and you can do it on ABO if you want, because the budget is on ad set level, so you can introduce new stuff there. I'm against of doing it in working CBOs or Advantage Plus. I'm totally fine with duplicating and doing whatever you want, adding new element, removing bad elements, whatever. But at the end of the day, the thing that I want to mention here is the learning phase. A lot of people are obsessed with the learning phase, like it's the only way for you to make money on Facebook ads. This is not true. The learning phase is there. Yes, it is a technical thing. Yes, we believe it and we accept it. Yes, but I have also videos on my channel that I prove that if you have an ad set which is outside of the learning phase and an ad set that it's not outside of the learning phase, it's not so important. Okay, of course it's better for it to go outside of the learning phase, but sometimes having 50 events in the last 7 days, it's impossible for a lot of people with the budgets that they have and everything. So someone who is spending 100, 200, 300 per day, he will never get out of the learning phase. Never. So the problem here is that unless if we say that you're getting out of the learning phase even faster, for example, I have seen ads saying learning and then just saying active even with 30 sales. Maybe Facebook can come out and say that 50 events are not what you need necessarily. Maybe the ad set is going to go outside of the learning phase earlier, and maybe they can have a specific term for that. Instead of learning, they can put now learned. Okay. And so that we can know that it went out of the learning phase and we can compare them properly. The situation is that when you're having that and when you're not having that, you can understand that it doesn't make any difference. At least on the accounts that I manage, which are a lot, and the money that I have managed, I can tell you that I was never fixated with the idea of the learning phase, and it went pretty well. And you don't need to be fixated with the idea of the learning phase, because it's always leading you to bad decisions like the consolidation and so on and so on. So now that we cleared that, of course, as I told you, I have videos about all of that on my YouTube channel if you want to go and check them with real ad accounts. One note before I go to my next subject, which I just remembered, is that I haven't discussed about the fact that the breakdown of results is back. Actually, I will have to make a video about it, because now we can see again where the sales are coming from, because at some point the breakdown of results was gone, and when you were breaking down the results, you wouldn't be able to see, for example, in which placement the sales are coming from. You could only see the spend on the different placements, and with that way you could actually spot if one of them is working or not, and this is why Facebook is spending the money, as long as your ad was profitable. Now, the problem was that if your ad wasn't profitable, you wouldn't be able to check where the sales are coming from in order for you to focus there or narrow down or whatever. So now this is back. You can go and you can check, for example, that the sales came from the age of 65 plus, 18 to 24, 25 to 34. whatever. You can check these kind of things and see how many sales you have, what ROAS, what amount was spent there, which is very good. And in my opinion, it's going to start again the conversations about automatic placements, and that Facebook is just using automatic placements in order to get more money from all of us, because only 3 placements or 4 placements are working, which are Facebook feed, Instagram stories, and maybe Facebook stories. So now with the breakdown results, most probably we will be able to make more videos or more observations about the fact that they're not working. Last important note that I want to make is that I have a print screen here that I'm showing this. So basically, I was looking on some other accounts and I'm observing that, and I don't know if it has to do with Q5, I'm going to explain now. Most of the times when you see your spending, when you put 20, it's going to spend 19.7, 19.6. When you put 80, it's going to spend 78, 79. It's never spending the full amount of money. I'm not talking about the first day that you started at 6 a.m., which you don't have the full day. I'm talking about a normal day after the ad is running. You can see that it's spending a little bit less. And this is the reason that when we optimize with our CBO campaigns, as you can see in my optimizations or in my course, the ones that you have seen it and everything, you can see that as soon as we close an ad set, we filter them by selection, the ones that are remaining. We see what kind of ROAS we're getting. If we're happy with that, we see what these spent yesterday in order to decide if we're going to continue with them. Just let me rephrase it. You have a CBO campaign. Let's say that you have 5 assets, okay? And you are getting, with all of the 5 assets, 1.5 ROAS, but you want to get 2. You go and you close one of them. So then you go and you pick the other 4 and you filter by selection on the search area. And over there, you can see that now with these 4 remaining, if only these 4 were running, you're having 2 ROAS. So let's say that your budget is $200 in a CBO. When you filter them, you can see that if you check yesterday, these 4 assets that are remaining and they give you the 2 ROAS that you want, they are having a spend of 150. So what we were doing, so the fifth one was actually having a spend of 50 every day. So in order for you to keep getting 2 ROAS, you just need to remove $50 from your budget in order for you to be able to continue having the 2 ROAS without disturbing the balance or how much one is spending or the other. Because if you just close the ad set, the $50 of the ad set that you closed, they're going to be distributed among the others, and maybe this is going to ruin all the results because one of them is going to start spending more and so on and so on. So in optimization of CBO, in the way that I do it at least, we try to keep a balance and we lower the budget based on how much the assets that we closed, they were actually spending. So now that I explained this, when we are watching the yesterday's result and we are seeing, for example, 150 out of the 200, what we were doing is always putting a little bit more, 160, because we knew that it would spend 150 because of the less spending that we could observe every day. I feel like it's super technical. I hope some of you understand it. So the situation here is this. Either Facebook now is starting to spending a little bit more, which means that either in this case, that in the scenario that I gave you, we will not put 160, we will put 150 as a budget, not a little bit more, but exactly the same. Or maybe if it continues like this, we will have to put a little bit less in order for us to preserve this balance that we try to keep. Because our ultimate goal there is to not let them spend, even if it's possible, a dime more, just spend the 150. So that we are not going to disturb the balance. So either this is happening and now the ads are spending a little bit more, or my conspiracy theory here is this. Because now Facebook is losing a lot of profits and everything in this period because nobody's advertising, they put it on the algorithm to spend a little bit more on each one of the assets. Because again, I'm going to explain. If before the first one ad set that you can see on the screen, it was spending 19, Now it's spending 21.11, which for you it's $1 um, extra from your budget, but it's actually $2 extra from the previous situation, which is actually $2 multiplied with all the ads that they exist, with all the campaigns that they exist, with all the ads managers that they exist, and multiplied with all the businesses that. So you can understand that by just doing this small change, this is millions in the pockets of Facebook. And I hope that the situation is not that Facebook is trying to recover some of the money that it's not making in this period with that way. I hope it's just a change that has happened for any other reason. But I'm just putting it there, not because Zuckerberg is watching my podcast, he doesn't give a shit. But I'm putting it there just so that I can feel good that someone has actually mentioned that, and so that not all of us were going to feel stupid of what Facebook is doing here and there. And I told you, if Facebook is doing this or that, it doesn't matter, because Facebook is a very strong platform and we are going to continue using it. And maybe this is the issue here. But at the end of the day, if they're doing it because they're having less profits in the Q5, as they call it, and they try to push also the Q5 in order for you to spend money so that they're not going to lose money, it's just sad. It's just sad because they just want to have the same profits all the time, no matter what. Okay, and it's a business. Okay, I understand it, but it's a little bit cheap when you do it to people that they don't understand it in a technical level. The moment that I saw that, I think that this is the reason. Maybe the reason is another thing. I will give them the benefit of a doubt. But yeah, I wanted to mention it here because this podcast is also about expressing my skepticism on several stuff. Now, enough with all of that. Let's go now to see some of the things that I prepared from my freelancer diaries things and watching stuff on Upwork. So there is a guy here that's having a post that says that looking for a media buyer for my agency, the Technis, Facebook Ads Expert. It will be a 3-month contract. You will get paid. You get paid every month, he means. We'll have spent for that 10,000 in. A month's got results, be able to produce results on a budget. Okay, his English is not the best. And then he says, you will be paid 0 to 500. So basically, there's a possibility that you're not going to be paid anything, even if you work on it. I don't know his criteria, but I can just criticize that how bad are some people on doing business. You cannot just say to someone that you will not get paid if nothing happens, because he will still put the work, okay? And it's not his fault to fix a funnel that is not working. In my opinion, if you're a freelancer, of course, if you have the luxury to do it like I do, just pick your projects. Don't take projects that you don't believe that they're going to have results, okay? Because there are people that they just think that if you don't have results on Facebook, you're bad on Facebook advertisement. This is not true. You can have several other accounts that they can work. Maybe his account is not working, whatever. But in my opinion, picking projects and working with people that they are normal, it's the most important thing in this business if you want to sleep well. Because as I said several times, our job is super stressful because you might have 20 accounts working well and one account which is not working, and then you would not be able to sleep. It's super stressful when you have accounts that they don't work, and a lot of times it's not our fault. At least in my case, because right now I can how can I say that? So basically, right now, I don't feel like someone can come and tell to me that I'm not a good advertiser on Facebook. I just don't accept it because I have overcome my fear if I'm good or bad because of all of the things that I see, situation with the agency before that we discussed in previous podcasts, the results that I have in my different accounts, the way that I scale them when others are failing, all of that. So nobody can come and tell me you're not a good advertiser because it matters what I believe about myself and what I have seen, and I don't care about that opinion. What I care about is for me to have good projects that I can work with, that I can actually have results. So if you're a freelancer and you're watching this, pick your projects. Don't take projects just to take the money or work with people. It just doesn't worth it, okay? And in our side, we cannot fix anything that is not fixable. We can just do our strategies and everything, but if their product is bad, if their funnel is bad, if their offer is bad, as I mentioned earlier with the mugs and everything, then we can do nothing about it. So don't stress over it, just don't take the job. Now, here we have another one which says, looking for someone energetic with very good vibes, willing to help me to set up a business manager account for my marketing company and link existing Facebook pages from previous clients to my account. Also interested in someone who can help me understand more about Facebook ads and Instagram. So this person is actually asking for someone like me who is having several accounts to go make him a business manager and also link these pages from all of his clients or whatever to this business account. The amount of stupidity that some people have, or the stuff that they're asking, it's crazy. It's crazy. Uh, Even let's say that I was a scumbag, okay, and that I wanted to do that. How much money you should ask for something like this? We're talking about a person like me who has 10 years of experience. I put my credibility on the line. I put also contacts that I have here for years and clients that I have for years, and I have built relationship with them. How much should I charge him for that? If I wanted to do it, it had to be an exit plan. Okay, it had to be something like, I will do it, but I will do it so that I can take $50 million and leave, you know. But I'm pretty sure that this person was probably going to spend $200 to it. And that drives me crazy that some people, they just don't understand what they are asking. They are asking for someone to connect you with all of their clients and stuff. These things are not even happening in the big companies that they have even spying between them. Crazy. Now we go to one of my favorite categories below. It's this kind of person that wants someone to do everything. So here we have, I'm looking for a social media expert for our client clothing business to be expand online. So this guy actually is an agency, which is even worse because he can hire a lot of different professionals, but most probably he's lazy. It says the candidate must have following skills: manage social media, expand business on multiple social media platforms, be creative, be consistent, I would say. Manage Shopify store, manage orders, content writing, ad copy, create social media ad campaigns, Facebook, Instagram, Google ads, design ads, post videos, so he has also to be an editor. Be able to assist customers, research creative strategies for business. He's going to do also customer support. Create social media posting design, create Instagram reels and stories, design monthly calendar, schedule posts, and email marketing, checking email, able to change and customize website design and make necessary changes. He's also a developer. Gave monthly, weekly reports, data analyst, experience with Google Business, Google Analytics, Search Console is a plus. Okay. So the Search Console is a plus. Okay. Everything else the person needs to have it. If you think you're fit for this job and you have the following skills, type virtual assistant. Not only you are going to be having all of these, but you're going to be also a virtual assistant. If you have all of these skills, you have to be a CEO, most probably. And in the end of the proposal, so that you can make sure that you have read all of the criteria well. Note, no agency proposal be accepted. So he wants a freelancer that he is a video editor, designer also, to create images and stuff. So Photoshop and Premiere, so that he can edit. Then we need someone who is also going to do social media posting with all of that. Then we need someone who is going to do email marketing, so write it, everything and stuff. The customer support, So also answer on the comments on the social post, but also answer the comments on the email marketing. Then we need someone who is going to also do Facebook ads and Google ads, be technical to do that, and someone who is also a web developer so that he can make changes on the site and everything. So in my opinion, you are looking for Superman at the best, okay? And just so that I can be fair a little bit, when I had my own e-commerce store, I was doing all of that, but it was my own store. It wasn't your store or it wasn't the store of an agency. So why would someone do this as an employee and not have his own store? Because if someone has this kind of skill set, he's not going to work for someone else. So you're an agency. Put the actual work. Don't be lazy. Hire someone to do this, and charge the client whatever you have to charge him for that. And if the client doesn't want it and he wants a niche solution, they can go find on their own someone if they think that it's easy. But when you hire an agency, the core thing of the agency is that it has different experts that they have for different projects. So the idea of agency is this, and this is how it's working, this is how it's making money. It's not making money from one client. It's making money from several clients. Why? Because it has full-time employees for a specific thing, for email marketing, for example, but he has 20 clients. 20 clients for social media marketing, 20 clients for this. And when it's needed, all of these teams are combining forces in order to serve one client, and this is where the agencies are becoming useful. Because the way that you want to do it, this is something that also the company can do it. Because they didn't hire a recruiter. If they hired a recruiter and you were the recruiter and you wanted to do that, fine. But you are an agency and you are selling some services. If you're selling some services, have the people to do that. Okay? Anyway, you all know that agencies are actually triggering me. I feel that agencies are triggering me more from this guy that he's pretending me on Instagram. It's a crazy thing. Now, there's one last thing, and then we're going to close the podcast. How much time do we have so far?
36 minutes.
36? Okay, cool. That's amazing. So, I have to run one Facebook ad for 4 weeks to see if it is possible to track down anyone who may have known a now dead pedophile priest. I'm not going to make a joke about that. I'm just going to read it just so that I can show you what kind of crazy stuff we see on Upwork. I have the demographics of the target audience and the region I want to focus. I also don't want to add the ad to show up on my own family Facebook page, of course. Open to ideas, but I need someone to help me implement the ad. So basically this person, and I'm not going to make fun of it because I don't know if his kid was involved or whatever. Maybe he's a journalist, for example, and he wants to find it. It doesn't matter. So this person is actually trying to find someone who is now dead pedophile priest, and he wants to track someone who might have known it. So I'm guessing that he's going to target the neighborhood of the dead priest with his picture, saying that, do you know this guy? Contact me here if you know him and stuff, which is super cringe and stuff. But, these are the things that we actually see from time to time on the Upwork platform. And I'm going to close with a funny one because, to be honest with you, I was watching again my different savings on the folder from my different freelancer diaries, which I'm going to start showing also here on the podcast. If you haven't watched the freelancer diaries, go and watch them. I think you will like them. But I don't think that I will continue them. Maybe in a year or so, we will see. I just didn't like the fact that after some point I was trying to find more content, so it wasn't fun anymore. So, and in order to do the freelancer diaries, we need to go outside of the office and stuff. It's a procedure. So the thing is that I will put everything that I see here on the podcast, which I also like as a way of expressing it. And I was poking around and I found one post. I'm going to put it here. It was saying that I want to contact someone to find me a way that so that I can advertise on Facebook for free. And I'm thinking, what kind of logic is this? You know, you want to find a way. How can you find a way to advertise on Facebook for free? Because he's using the word advertise, okay? So I'm going to put this here just to show you the crazy ideas that people have. I would like to tell to all of you that I wish you a Merry Christmas. I wish you a Happy New Year. I hope that you had a good year with Facebook ads. I know that the next year is going to be better. The 28 days attribution is coming back, the breakdown of results. We can see that the reporting is also improving. I can see that we had the best Black Friday that we ever had. So many scaled accounts. I have videos that are coming with case studies and everything and what happened. You know, for me, it was a good year. I think everything went well with all the difficulties that we had. My YouTube channel is growing very well. Thank you. I would like to thank all of you for that. Most probably, we're reaching soon 5,000 followers, and I'm going to make a giveaway. Most probably there. I guess that's all. I will see you in the next year with a new podcast. The next week, we're not going to do a podcast. We're going to go with our families. I'm going to eat a lot because this is what I do. And what I like to always do during, not during, always. And don't forget that you have to be creative, you have to be consistent. Happy New Year, guys. I will see you in the next year. Bye. This was the Facebook Ads Breaking News Podcast. Like it or not, it is what it is.